Danrvdtree2000, also known as Danrvdtree2000 on Xbox Live, and welcome back to another WWE predictions. This time, we're going back old school as WWE have brought back another classic pay-per-view, WWE Backlash. And that's right, WWE Backlash 2020, and this is going to be a good one. So let's get on to the first matchup, and that first matchup is coming up now. And the first match is, well, the brand new United States Champion will go one-on-one with Andrade. That's right, the man that, well, he defeated to become United States Champion, Andrade, well, should I say, Apollo Crews, I should say, won the United States Championship by defeating Andrade, he turned the match on Raw. And a couple of weeks later, or I think it was like a week later, there was a triple threat match to decline the #1 contendership for this championship, and Andrade won that triple threat match. It was between him, the triple threat match was between Andrade, Angel Garza, and Kevin Owens. And after going backwards and forwards of teaming up against each other, they finally, both Andrade and Angel Garza, beat each other up, but Kevin Owens came back, hit a stunner on Angel Garza, and who was to pick up the sneaky victory? No other than Andrade himself. So this is how that matchup came to be. And for those who have never seen my predictions before, the way I do it is who I think is going to win the matchup and who I want to win the matchup. Now, who I think is who WWE have booked to win, and who I want to win the matchup is is my own personal opinion. So who do I think is going to win the United States Championship? Well, I think it'll be Apollo Crews to retain the title. Who do I want to see win the United States Championship? Apollo Crews. He hasn't been champion for quite some time. In fact, this is his first singles championship. So I'd like to see Apollo Crews remain the champion for quite some time. To at least maybe the next pay-per-view, and to still be the champion after this would be nice. However, I don't know if it'll be, because it is Andrade we're talking about, and it is singles competition, and when it comes to beating Andrade, he's beaten Andrade once, and Andrade has beaten him once. So, in a way, I think in singles competition between these two, this is kind of a rubber match. So I think. I'm not too sure. So, we'll see. But we'll go on to the next match. And the next match is a triple threat tag team match for the women's tag team titles. It was originally going to be Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross defending their titles against Bayley and Sasha Banks and the IIconics, but after SmackDown a couple of weeks ago, I think it was last week, a couple of weeks ago, Bayley and Sasha, in fact it was last week, I'm sorry, Bayley and Sasha Banks defeated Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross to become the women's tag team champions. Therefore, it made, well, in her words, Bayley, women ghost straps. That's what she's, because it's 2 belts. It's taking the piss out of Becky Lynch and everything with Becky 2 belts and everything like that, but very funny. But yes, so now it's gonna be Sasha and Bayley defending their titles against these two teams right here, the IIconics, so Peyton Royce and Billie Kay in the middle, and on the right you've got Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. So who do I think is going to win this matchup? Bayley and Sasha. Who do I want to see win this matchup? The IIconics. Just because I've seen all the 3 of these teams have been women's tag team champions before, with the most recent being Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. I just personally think it should be IIconics winning the tag team titles. They didn't do nothing with them the first time round. This is why I think it should be their chance to win them back and actually do something with them properly. Although at the same time, I don't want to see Sasha and Bayley just be that, oh, we just won it, oh no, wait, now you can have the belts, transitional champions, if you will. So yeah, I don't think this is another SmackDown match, so, by the way, apart from the IIconics, each of these women are on SmackDown Live. But the women's tag team titles can go on both shows. This is why IIconics are allowed to be in this matchup. And unlike normal triple threat matches, there's going to be, two people standing in the ring at the same time. Which I never got. I mean, it should always be free. In my book, no matter what era of triple threat tag team matches you're watching, in my book, it should be 3 women at the same time, or do it tornado tag style, where all 6 women are in the ring at the same time. Triple threat rules. First one to get the pinfall or make the submission is the winner. Of course, there are no disqualifications and no countouts, so Bayley and Sasha could easily cheat to win, and it won't matter. So that's why I think it'll be Sasha and Bayley, because there'll be some shenanigans of some kind, but I would want the IIconics. So with that being said, I'm going to go on to the next match. And the next match is a matchup which is a huge controversial... Actually, I had the cursor in the middle, I'll take that away. And I'll do it again in 3, 2, 1, take 2, action. And the next match is, of course, a very controversial storyline, but I'm pretty sure both Sheamus and especially Jeff Hardy doesn't mind doing, and that's, well, the Jeff Hardy comeback story. Well, throughout when Sheamus' comeback as well, and he's been dominating all his jobbers and still having squash matches. Just before those matches, they both, the commentators of Corey Graves and Michael Cole especially, has been talking about the comeback story of Jeff Hardy. And that's all that he could put up with, is that Jeff Hardy this, Jeff Hardy that, and they weren't focusing on the man in the ring, Sheamus, and his contributions to WWE. So of course that's made Sheamus mad, the fact that Jeff Hardy was getting all his attention about this comeback story that's on the WWE network that you can watch on this documentary about Jeff Hardy going through, take the rough patch in his life, or ever since his early 20s, of drinking and taking drugs, getting arrested in 2011 and 2018. So many demons, as Jeff Hardy puts it, that has happened in his life. And then a couple of weeks ago on SmackDown, Elias is out cold and he's been injured and taken out of and there's a car that's smashed up against the lamppost, and the police officers, they come along and they check the driver's license or whatever it was, and it claims that this vehicle belongs to Jeff Hardy. So, and then they go around the bushes from near the performance center, and who's in the bushes stinking of alcohol? Then Jeff Hardy, who can't remember a thing. And now straight away when I saw this segment, I went, it's gotta be Sheamus. It's just gotta be. And then the very same night, where Sheamus is in the main event, in that semi-final Intercontinental Championship Tournament matchup, Jeff Hardy comes down, distracts Sheamus, causing him to lose the matchup, and then Jeff Hardy attacks Sheamus, and then the next week on SmackDown he tells the story and says, hey, I passed all the sobriety tests, and there was a witness, an eyewitness, that said that he saw a guy with ginger bushy hair and a ginger beard driving his car, attacking Jeff Hardy as he came out the car. So, and that's only one description, and that's gotta be Sheamus. So, and after what we saw on SmackDown, well, let's just say Jeff Hardy, he took the piss. That would make myself laugh. But now we've got this matchup here on Backlash. Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus, and it ain't gonna be pretty, folks. I can tell you that. I can tell you that for sure. Who do I think is gonna win? Well, Jeff Hardy. Because after all this, if Sheamus wins, it'll be a bit of a weird one. Who do I want to win? Jeff Hardy. No, there's no doubt about it. Jeff Hardy is gonna conquer his demons and conquer Sheamus and all the other doubters. And then we'll hopefully move on from all this Sheamus stuff. Unless Sheamus somehow picks up the victory. Because he somehow drugs Jeff Hardy before the matchup and Jeff Hardy doesn't know where he is. Which again, that would be an interesting story to see. But, you know, we'll see what happens at Backlash. Will Hardy twist the fate of Sheamus? Or will Sheamus knock Jeff Hardy out of his boots that he can't remember anything, just like when he gets drunk and doesn't remember anything when he gets a DIY. DIY or whatever it's called. I'm sorry, DIY is do it yourself. DUI, that's it. But that's just me having a little bit of a joke. But in all seriousness, if I know Sheamus was being a heel on SmackDown by saying don't do drugs, but if you know what's good for you, don't drink and drive, and also don't do drugs. Stay home at school, or stay at home and go to school. But obviously, considering what we're going through, just stay at home. And the next match is, well, the Raw Women's Champion Asuka will be defending her title, Raw Women's Championship, against Nia Jax. Now, or should I call her Ruthless Jax? I mean, Jesus Christ. She needs to learn how to not wrestle, but to be safe. I mean, the fact that she's injured Kairi Sane multiple times, and even Becky Lynch at one point, she needs to learn not to be so rough on her opponents. She's the female equivalent of Vader, I'd say. Or at least, I mean, Vader didn't really injure that many people back in the day. I think I'd say more like Mabel / Viscera, or / Big Daddy B, or whatever you like to call him. He injured the Undertaker. He injured Diesel. He didn't go. So yeah, I'd say she's the female equivalent of them. So she needs to go easy a little bit on Asuka. I mean, if she enters the champ, that's it. That's her short reign gone. But I will get to the fact you're probably wondering, Asuka, the Raw Women's Champion? Well, first of all, where have you been for the last few weeks? And surely you would have heard the news by now that Becky Lynch is pregnant. Congratulations to Becky and Seth Rollins becoming parents. So, and if you've because of that, Becky Lynch had to give up the Raw Women's Championship as she disguised the Money in the Bank, Women's Money in the Bank, to be no other than the Women's Championship that was inside. So when Asuka won that Money in the Bank, she didn't win the Money in the Bank contract, oh no. She won the Raw Women's Championship. So technically, even though Nia Jax claims that she was given, that Asuka was given the championship, no, I don't think she was. I think technically, even because secretly she didn't know that was in the Raw Women's Championship inside, and I think even if Becky wasn't pregnant, I think that Asuka would have cashed in against Becky Lynch in the first place. So, well, she would have had the championship eventually down the road. Yes. She just gave in the Raw Women's Championship a lot sooner because, well, Becky Lynch is pregnant. So she's off to go to be a mum for a while, and Becky Lynch will be back. But until then, Asuka's going to take her place as the Raw Women's Champion, and her first title defense is against Nia Jax. And, oh man, I like Nia Jax as a human being, but she needs to learn to, well, actually not hit her opponent or be so rough. Even though she's probably trying to be that dominant, big, muscular, oh, not muscular, but big, built woman, or dominating woman, try and look after your colleagues. But yeah, seriously though, who do I think is going to win this matchup? Asuka. Who do I want to win? You know, funny enough, I want Nia Jax to win. Just because she has been the Raw Women's Champion once before, I don't like her to become Raw Women's Champion once again because of the fact that technically she is kind of right that Asuka was technically given that Raw Women's Championship, and they could have quite easily gone down a different route and said, hey, we're setting up a tournament, but they already had the Intercontinental Championship in a tournament, so although we didn't know that was going to happen, so they could have easily done two tournaments, one for the Intercontinental Championship and one for the Raw Women's Championship. I had the finals at Backlash. So, and then they even had Asuka cash in against the winner. That would have been much more entertaining, I think. But hey, you can't really help what happens in real life, and WWE is unexpected and you don't know what's going to happen. So, I love this babyface Asuka again. She's got to stay like this because she didn't do very good as a heel. So, yeah, keep up the good work, WWE, and keep up the surprises. And until then, I must go on to the next match. And the next match is for the Universal Championship, as, well, Braun Strowman successfully retained the Universal Championship against Bray Wyatt, and now he hasn't got one challenger, but two challenges for the Universal Championship. And I'm sorry, but John Morrison and The Miz have not done their homework on Braun Strowman whatsoever, because they're idiots. Because if he was to look in the past and look at Braun Strowman and well, 2-on-1 handicap matches, those 2-on-1 handicap matches that Braun Strowman's been in has only gone one way, and that is the way of Braun Strowman has, whoever's been in the 2 section has, well, gotten those hands, as Braun Strowman is going to whoop both, and I know that Morrison and Miz claims that Braun Strowman's not gonna, you know, demolish the Miz and Morrison, but Braun Strowman is going to demolish Miz and Morrison. I mean, yes, Mr. Money in the Bank Otis can cash in on his Money in the Bank contract against anyone. I mean, I still think he can easily probably go to Raw and cash in against Drew McIntyre, but that's not gonna happen. And you reckon he'll cash in against Braun Strowman? No. If he's got the brains, he will wait until someone like The Miz and John Morrison are the Universal Champion. You see, here's my separate opinion. There's 3 scenarios that could happen, and here they are. Who do I think is going to win in scenario number 1? Braun Strowman. Who do I want? Well, actually 4, I should say. Who do I want to win? Braun Strowman. Now, here's scenario 3 and 4. Scenario 3 and 4 is somehow, some way, John Morrison and The Miz become the first ever co-Universal Champion. Now, this isn't the first time that there's been a handicap match for a championship, as Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn has challenged I think the WWE Champion at the time for the WWE Championship, and there's been multiple in the past. It's a very rare occurrence, but there has been a time where there's been a handicap match for one particular belt, and heck, there was even a time where the duo won a championship, and that was Michelle McCool, who became the women's champion, so much so that they split the championship into halves. That was pretty cool. But I think this is the first time that the Universal Championship has been defended inside in a handicap match. I'm not too sure, don't take my word for that. So that's the scenario where they get away with it and become, by using some double tactics and keeping him down, and that's it. They win the Universal Championship and escape with the skin of their teeth. The second, because we know that Strowman can't take on 3 people, because it took 3 people to defeat Strowman for defeat him for the Intercontinental Championship when Sami Zayn became Intercontinental Champion. So, you know, that was the situation there. So, it can be done in a handicap situation. But in this one, I don't think it will. But the fourth one is, as I said before, I had 4 scenarios. One is Strowman is who I think and who I want, no matter what. One is where Miz gets pinned, one is where Morrison gets pinned, and then you got Morrison and Miz winning and then getting away with it without a skin in their teeth, or still doing the same thing and dirty tactics, but Braun Strowman, after losing the match, beat the living shit out of Miz and Morrison, and well, the champions are down. Who comes down to cash in his money in the bank? Otis! That will be damn funny to see. Just to see the fact that, you know, after being a sore loser in John Morrison and the Miz's eyes, he beats up because they cheated to win. So that's the way he destroys them anyway. So he cashes in Money in the Bank. He becomes Universal Champion. Taco celebrates with him at the end of the night, but then, well, betrays him. Tucker goes on a heel turn, and then Otis will face Tucker in the next pay-per-view. I don't want that to happen, but it just seems like the WWE thing to do. Don't ask me why. But we'll go on to the next match. And the next match is the WWE Championship match. As WWE Champion Drew McIntyre will defend his championship against Bobby Lashley. And well, in the MVP keeps reminding us, Bobby Lashley has not had a WWE Championship opportunity or in like 9 to 10 years. When it took Drew McIntyre 13 years to become WWE Champion. Now here's the thing. I mean, this could be a really good matchup. You got the Claymore versus the Dominator. Well, Claymore versus the Actually, we've got the Glasgow Kiss versus the Spear. You got the Claymore versus the Dominator, and even you got even the Full Nelson that Bobby Lashley's been using lately that could come into play. 2 big dudes in the ring at the same time. I want 2 powerhouses as well. This could be a really good, interesting matchup. But I reckon that Bobby Lashley's gonna go all the way to Claymore country, because he will be looking up at the lights at the end of this match. So therefore, that is my prediction. Who do I think is gonna win? Well, Bobby Lashley. Even though I said that Drew McIntyre's gonna be taking Bobby Lashley to Claymore country, but I think it will be Bobby Lashley that wins. Surprise, surprise, I know. But who do I want? Drew McIntyre. Because I think I want him to go a little bit longer than this, than Backlash, to, well, be the WWE Champion. But got a feeling that they're gonna change the title this time. But Drew McIntyre will obviously win it back later on, but I think there'll be some shenanigans and distractions from both Lana and MVP that will cause the match to go away, and somehow there'll be a spear from Drew McIntyre costing him the matchup one way or another. So that Lash in Backlash doesn't stand for Lash, as in Backlash, it stands for Lashley, the man that will win the WWE Championship. Even though I want Drew McIntyre to retain, I don't think that's going to be the case. So with that being said, we'll go on to the final main event that could be the greatest wrestling match ever. And the last matchup, folks, the main event, what could be the greatest wrestling match of all time, or greatest wrestling match ever, Randy Orton versus Edge. Even though we've seen this one half a dozen times, they've been teammates, they've been rivals, they've been friends, they've been buddies, they've been everything in between. We saw a last man standing match at WrestleMania between these two, which Edge beat Orton so much that he put him in his sleeper hold and made him fade away, and then out of nowhere grabbed the chair and whacked Orton over the head with a steel chair by hitting him with a concerto. Sorry, get comfortable again in 3, 2, 1, action. As I was saying, he grabbed the chair and whacked him with a concerto. And that was it for Edge won his redemption matchup. And of course he was about to say, hey, I'm going to move on from Orton now. But then Orton just couldn't let it go. He said he was the better man in WrestleMania, but he wasn't the better wrestler. And weeks of building both Orton and Edge, having Orton and Edge coming to collide and finally agreeing to this matchup. It was just a bog standard wrestling matchup where the only way to win is by pinfall, submission, count out, and disqualification. And we've had Hall of Famers such as Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels, I think Steve Austin, both Hall of Famers saying that even Ric Flair, picking who they thought, Mick Foley even, picking who they thought was going to win their matchups. Although it's my turn to pick who I think is going to win, and of course my think is different to most other people's thinks, as I think is who WWE booked to win. Who do I think is going to win? Randy Orton. Just because they'll make, one match each. Edge won the last man standing match, a gimmick match. Doesn't have enough gas, tank in the gas to go one-on-one with Orton in a normal matchup. Therefore, the RKO will come out of nowhere, and in that matchup, just like that, then Orton will win the victory. But who do I want to win the matchup? Edge. Even though Randy Orton's my second favorite wrestler of all time, with AJ Styles being number one, well, it's not of all time, I should say of the modern era. And technically, Randy Orton's still part of the modern era, so I count that. But yes, Edge. I love him. I love the way, the impact of the spear. It's got the execution, dramatic, the electric. Well, I don't think he does the electric tread jump anymore, but that's what he used to do. But it's got a whole big repertoire of moves that could counter the RKO, that backbreaker, and even the Olympic Slam. I don't know if he does that anymore, but he does superplex at the top rope, and even his signature DDT and RKO out of nowhere. He can probably go toe to toe, definitely go toe to toe with Orton in our bog standard wrestling matchup. So will it be the greatest wrestling match ever? I sure hope so. Otherwise, we're gonna have a big build up for nothing, and I just don't want there to be a dusty finish whatsoever, or some type of screwy finish, because this build up to be the main event of Backlash is just gonna come to an end like, it's more of the mehest match ever. Mehest wrestling match ever. And I don't want that. It better have everything in there, from close calls to I can't believe that just happened. Like, I want to say the word holy shit in this matchup. So yeah, that is my predictions for WWE Backlash. Let me know in the comments section if who you think is going to win at WWE Backlash. I'm Danrvdtree2000, also known as Danrvdtree2015 on Xbox Live, and I'll see you at the reaction and review of WWE Backlash. And until then, bye bye. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you want to watch the previous video, click on the video on the left. But if you want to watch the playlist, then click on the video on the right. Also, feel free to click subscribe by clicking on the Master Chief icon on the top.